Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to 6 schools of Hindu philosophy, Darshan. So is there only 6 schools, or is there like 6 major schools of Hindu philosophy? That's first of all the question. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started. There's no
I have
CC.
another question is that, as you know, that Hinduism is very diverse, and in some sense, in just sense of pride, but also in another sense, quite confusing. You have so many darshans trying to study the idea of man in the soul, nature, and God, and then you have one which says logic, and then you have one saying many atoms, one saying only two realities, one saying one reality. Then you have Vishnu, which is five realities: Jeev, Ishwar, Maya, Brahm, Parabrahm. So the question is, when you have all this big gauntlet of ideas, does it really help you in any way? Because where do you sit? I mean, for you it's okay, you already kind of have some leanings with Advait, but surely there's a huge amount of ideas in Hinduism. How do you go about tackling all this, and how do you kind of progress?
Before we get started, I don't know why I was leaning forward thinking I could hear him better. Because I have these on, but it was a little hard to hear. I'm sorry.
For the audience, especially the people who are watching on TV, let me just tidy up the word darshan, what it means and what is the significance in Hindu tradition. What is this word darshan we hear? So many, 6 darshan they talk of Shata. What is darshan? First of all, darshan is, if you like, a philosophic explanation regarding the nature of reality. So there are 6 schools of philosophy in the Hindu tradition. 6 schools, Shata darshan, 6. So these are very ancient. The most ancient, from my knowledge, is the Nyaya philosophy. The Nyaya philosophy just focus on logic, as Vijay just mentioned. And how do you decide something is for real? They say it must be pratyaksh, means be straightway, or anuman, means you are kind of just inference. This is how they actually thought about the universe. They were very clear, very deep thinkers. So just using, if you like, mental gymnastics, they were trying to come to terms regarding nature of reality. And the most ancient is the Nyaya philosophy, purely logic. And you find it endearing, but it's really not suited to the modern time, because if you look through the whole process, it may appear outdated and perhaps doesn't relate to humanity today. So it's fallen by the wayside. The second philosophy we had was the Vaisheshika philosophy. It talks of the atom and the void, that everything is made of atom and the void. So this idea of Democritus and what the Greek philosophy, it comes straight out of the Vaisheshika Darshan, the second philosophy. The third philosophy we had is called the Purva Mimamsa. Now the Purva Mimamsa is a very interesting philosophy. It said really, it didn't believe in God even. Can you believe that? This is Hinduism. It says the only thing we can teach you is there are certain rituals you can do, there are certain slokas and mantras that you can pronounce in a specific manner. So if you do the liturgy, means the rituals, proper pronunciation, proper yagna, proper altar created with the perfect measurement, and you must make sure you pay the right Brahmin to do the right pronunciation, otherwise it will be counterproductive. This is called the Purva Mimamsa. I mean, just do this liturgy and certain results will follow. So you'll get benefit. In fact, there are some people who are selling stuff like that on TV at the moment. So they say you do certain liturgy and certain benefits will follow, we guarantee them. And you must pay us otherwise, because we know the right pronunciation. Otherwise, you employ the next door neighbor, you are in trouble. Counterproductive. It will be like a curse. Your family will be destroyed. So poor guy, don't do any liturgy unless you pay me. This was going on, Purva Mimamsa. That has fallen by the wayside as well. That's outdated. Still some remnants, you find in some groups that are still trying to promote it and teach you that if you repeat this sloka perfectly, certain results will follow. Whether it's true or not, this is again a philosophy that fell by the wayside. There was no God in this philosophy. Imagine, no God even. Just do the liturgy, you get results. Good life, health, everything is sort of money, everything. The girl you want to marry, no problem. They sort you out. This is what it was, Purva Mimamsa. That's fallen by the wayside. Then we come to the 3 philosophies that have stood the test of time and formed the foundation of modern Hinduism. These 3 have been lost. They are perhaps 5,000 years old, and that old. And they've fallen by the wayside. The 3 that are now modern philosophy of Hinduism and forms the foundation of modern Hinduism are, it starts with the Samkhya darshan of Kapil. Talks about distinguishing the spirit from the body, if you like, matter and spirit are different. This is exactly what I just talked about in first question. The underpinning to this reality is the spirit. It manifests as the universe, but the underpinning is spirit. And that distinction was actually experienced by this ancient rishi called Kapil, and he produced the first truly spiritual philosophy of the Hindus. The Samkhya Darshan is the foundation of Hinduism. Every Hindu must bow down to Kapil. I give him the highest smile. I'm in love with his personality. First human being to see himself as a spirit, as Atman and not the body and the mind. First one to actually experience. So this is the foundation of modern Hinduism. See, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa, outdated. Then comes Samkhya. Now Samkhya was okay, but still difficult to because there was no God in Samkhya. So difficult for general man on the street to appreciate. So then came Patanjali, and he brought in from the Samkhya Darshan, got the Yoga Darshan. So he added one category that Kapil had not put. The category is God. You need God. Human beings are okay, but God. So Atman is okay, but there must be something superior Atman. Atman of Atman, highest. So he brought in Paramatma, the idea of, as a God. So this is the, if you like, the transition from Samkhya to the Yoga Darshan. And then we have the modern proponents of Vedanta Darshan. So if you like, these are the 6 schools of philosophy: Samkhya, Yoga, Vedanta. And all of us here are really, subscribing to the Vedanta philosophy. And there's a variation in the Vedanta philosophy. There are three dimensions to Vedanta. There's a Dvaita Vedanta, which says you and God are different. Don't you dare even make any such comment that you got anything. You are completely different. You are.
Sorry, gonna rewind that one.
And there's a variation in the Vedanta philosophy. There are three dimensions to Vedanta. There's a Dvaita Vedanta, which says you and God are different. Don't you dare even make any such comment that you got anything. You are completely different. You are moron. Don't.
Advaita Vedanta, isn't that what Swami was teaching about? I'm familiar with that term. That God and you are separate?
Equate yourself to God. Very severe guys. And then there's a Vishishta Dvaita, which says you are the spark of divine. Don't worry, my boy. He's like fire, you are like a spark. And then you got the Advaita saying, oh, this distinction between a spark and a fire, what distinction? Fire is fire. So size doesn't matter. That's what he's saying. So you are basically the spark of divine. You are that, my boy. This is Advaita. Philosophically, Advaita is solid, most solid, because
I'm sorry, I'm going to rewind that again because
Vedanta. And all of us here are really, subscribing to the Vedanta philosophy. And there's a variation in the Vedanta philosophy. There are three dimensions to Vedanta. There's a Dvaita Vedanta, which says you and God are different. Don't you dare even make any such comment that you got anything. You are completely different. You are moron. Don't equate yourself to God. Very severe guys. And then there's a Vishishta Dvaita, which says you are the spark of divine. Don't worry, my boy. He's like fire, you are like a spark. And then you got the Advaita saying, oh, this distinction between a spark and a fire, what distinction? Fire is fire. So size doesn't matter. That's what he's saying. So you are basically the spark of divine. You are that, my boy. This is Advaita.
I was trying to pay attention to that first word. Was the first and the second one the same? Advaita the Vedanta? Oh, good lord, I can't say that. Advaita Vedanta? That one I recognize more of what Swami was talking about how non-duality, basically.
Philosophically, Advaita is solid, most solid, because it gives answer to this kind of philosophic challenges from science and rationality. But Vishishta Advaita is perhaps the more practical one, because you adopt this attitude that I am not God, I am a spark of God. There's a big difference. So it keeps you under control, basically. You can't become arrogant. So this is the difference between Vishishta and Advaita philosophy. This is, if you like, the 6 darshanas of the Hindus. It's nice to explore this on television. You give me an opportunity to say that without saying too much about what you do. Now the second part of the question Vijay Bhai asked is, okay, you give me all the 6 darshana, marvelous, but all you've done is you increased our confusion. So what should we follow now? Should we go for the Purva Mimamsa and do this mantra properly pronounced by the proper Brahmins? What should we do next? So the answer is this, again from Vivekananda. You follow what appeals to you, what fits your digestion. Suppose you take a bit of Vaisheshika, you take a bit of Advaita, you take, say, and it may be a weird mixture, but whatever aspects of your religion appeal to you, adopt it and make it your own and go to its conclusion. Don't just believe in it, take it to its conclusion. So choose the prescription, if you like, choose the menu that suits your own digestion system and then swallow it, eat it and become strong.
I will say that is something that I genuinely do love. You're not forced into any one category, and this is what I'm essentially doing myself. That's why I watch and listen to all the wisdom people, I call him wisdom. It's just easier. Guru, Swami, and I don't know what Eckhart calls himself. Philosophy. But and this is what I basically do. This is the reason why I listen to Sadhguru, Swami, Osho, although Osho's kind of been put on hold because of Osho International and everyone else. Krishnamurti, Eckhart. He's coming back for me. But yeah, I listen to all of them because a lot of them essentially all of them I do agree with a lot of what they say. Now the Turiya itself is still the one that's where I guess I believe so far in the duality. And it's very difficult for me to, how do I say this? I guess to believe in the non-duality of it. I can understand it absolutely, and the only reason why I can understand it is because the Turiya itself is void, nothing. There's nothing there. There's blackness, nothing. The only time you're ever aware of it is when you have a thought, when you need to answer a thought or be aware of the thought. And the reason why I can understand it being this awareness, all the awareness is, how do I say this? Everyone's awareness is very similar, and like this one big consciousness is because everyone's consciousness, everyone's Turiya, let me just say it that way. Everyone's Turiya is the same. It's blank. Nothing, darkness. If everyone does the exact same thing, I think everyone will have the same result, this blankness. And because of this blankness, that it can be believed that it all comes from the same air, same space, same whatever it is, Atman, Brahman, or supreme consciousness, pure consciousness. And that I can understand. But it's just very difficult for me to connect that for now. But I understand that. So that's the reason why I still want to listen to more, because I want to, well, try to be aware of it or find out the truth. I guess that's the best I can do. At least the truth that I can understand the best. Let's continue on. I talk too much.
To his conclusion. So the answer is, it is, of course, when you give a big menu, you create confusion. Like you go to a restaurant and you get the French menu and you don't know what is they're talking about. Creates confusion. So you got confusion. But he's simply saying, read the menu carefully, translate if necessary. The part that can agree with your digestion system that you like, adopt it and make it your own, and eat the material, digest the material, and let it take you to his conclusion.
And that's actually really nice. Again, that's the same thing I'm doing as well. Well, like I said a little bit earlier, is that I am trying to listen to everyone. I agree with pretty much almost all the Swamis, gurus, wisdom teachers, philosophies that I've watched thus far. Osho says it. I mean, he slaps you in the face with the truth. It hurts, but it's the truth. Sadhguru is very nice and kind about the way he approaches it. Krishnamurti is just, I don't know why I keep repeating it, but Krishnamurti is just so enthusiastic about it. Like he basically says something to make you ask the questions that he wants you to ask, and it's like, yes, that's right, that's correct. All the little things that I notice about all the gurus, or at least some of them, not all of them. Eckhart just speaks Greek to me, and that's the thing that I notice about him. But yes, and again, I said that's what I do like. But I kind of want to go back to the beginning. Sorry, I keep going off topic here.
My knowledge.
I want to hear what the first school of philosophy was, and oddly enough, he skipped the second one. I was wondering why he didn't even really explain it that much.
Is the Nyaya philosophy. The Nyaya philosophy just focus on logic. My knowledge is the Nyaya philosophy.
Nyaya?
The Nyaya philosophy just focus on logic, as Vijay just mentioned. And how do you decide something is for real? They say it must be pratyaksh, means be straightway.
I want to hear in some detail about these 6 schools, just to get an understanding of them.
Or anuman means you are kind of just inference. This is how they actually thought about the universe. They were very clear, very deep thinkers. So just using, if you like, mental gymnastics, they were trying to come to terms regarding nature of reality. And the most ancient is the Nyaya philosophy, purely logic. And you find it endearing, but it's really not suited to the modern time, because if you look through the whole process, it may appear outdated and perhaps doesn't relate to humanity today. So it's fallen by the wayside. The second philosophy we had was the Vaisheshika philosophy. It talks of the atom and the void, that everything is made of atom and the void. So this idea of Democritus and what the Greek philosophy, it comes straight out of the Vaisheshika Darshan, the second philosophy. The third philosophy...
There you go. So like the second one is that, I guess he's saying the void and...
Everything is made of atom and the void.
Atman, I believe? Atman and the void.
And the void. That everything is made of atom and the void. So this idea of
I wish I
Democritus...
had CC so I could hopefully see and hear and try to piece it together correctly. But I believe it's saying the Atman and the void. Void? I've not heard the void being said in any of the other teachers, so I'm not exactly sure what that is. But then again, he said these are old schools that didn't survive time. And I guess most Hindu philosophy nowadays is the Vedanta one. I do want to see the first one though. It says it's pure logic and they have to do mental gymnastics around it. That sounds fantastic. And I definitely got to look these up and hopefully find a video that explains each six. And it's a bit confusing when he was talking about the sixth one, Vedanta.
You are the spark of divine. Don't worry, my boy. Guys. And then there's the Vishishta Dvaita, which says you are the spark of divine. Don't worry, my boy. He's like fire, you are like a spark. And then you got the Advaita saying, this distinct... In the Vedanta philosophy, there are three dimensions to Vedanta. There's a Dvaita Vedanta, which says you and God
Now, unless he's pronouncing it a little bit differently, again, without the CC, it sounds very similar to me. So, again, I don't know. Let me know. Is the first one and the third one of Vedanta, is it the same one? Or is it different? It has to be different if there's one that says that you cannot be the same as God, and the other one saying that, no, spark, fire, whatever, it's all the same. Which is what, in fact, Swami was talking about. Let me know. It's probably my ears. I'm trying to lean into hearing better, even though it's stuck in my ears. But anyways, that's my reaction to 6 schools of Hindu philosophy. I definitely gotta learn a little bit more about the 6 schools. I am curious, especially the first one. Mental gymnastics, it sounds like my brain. Anyways, that's my reaction to 6 schools of Hindu philosophy. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.